Hi, this video is going to be a little refresher because I'm not in class today and I wanted to remind you guys of some things. So over the weekend, I didn't grade your projects, but I looked over them to see how you guys were doing and I circled anything that was wrong. So if you look through your purchase order and you're like, why the heck is there red marks on my paper? It's because that answer is wrong. And so I want you to keep in mind, if I circled your space required, I only circled the space required, but that's going to mean that if this is wrong, that means how many squares you'll use is wrong. Your length and width is wrong. The cost of the land is wrong. And the total cost is wrong. And then the running total is wrong. So if I circled your space required right here, all of the rest of these answers are going to be wrong. And you have to redo all of those. Okay, so keep that in mind. And since I'm not in class today, remember, you can email me if you have any questions or anything like that, but I'm hoping that this video will help because looking over your purchase orders, I kind of saw some of the misconceptions you guys were having. So the first thing is that, remember, your species required. So I have on here all the animals that I chose and then the required family size is there. You can do those, remember that's the minimum. So you can choose more than that if you want. So if I decided I wanted to do 3 beavers, I could. But I decided I just want to do 4 bobcats, that's fine. I just want to do 1 koala, but I want to do 7 lions. You can. You can change that number, you just can't go lower than what the required family size is. Okay. Another mistake I saw students make is they would put 1 there. But remember, in the rubric, it says you can only have 2 animals that are by themselves. So like this koala is by themselves and the iguana is by themselves. That means the newt. That means I have to buy more than 1 newt because I can only have 2 species that are by themselves in the cages or in the enclosures. So for the newt, I would have to go up to anything above 1. So like if I wanted to do 4, I could, but I couldn't leave it as 1. So that's why on a few of your papers, I circled it like this. And that's because you cannot have just 1 there because you already have 1 on 2 of the others. Okay, so keep that in mind as you go through those and look over to see what you did wrong. And the next thing is the space required is probably the biggest mistake I saw students make. So I'm going to go over this example real quick of the beaver. So let's say I have... Let me highlight it. Oh, that's not the... Oh, wrong. That's why. Wrong one. Okay, so for the beaver, I'm looking at that title right there. So I decided I'm going to have 3, and they each cost $1,000. So that means if I buy 3 of them, that's going to be $3,000. And then the space required, so I have to look here. I have to look in this box and I have to look in this box because this box is the space required for the first animal, so that first one that I bought, and then this box is space required for each additional animal. So I bought 2 extra animals because I bought 3 altogether, so I bought 2 extra, so that's 5,000 times 2, which is 10,000, plus the original for the first animal was 35,000. So I have to add those, and I would get 45,000. Not dollars. I think I said dollars. Sorry. It's 45,000 for the space required. So square feet. Okay. So for the bobcat, if I did that one as an example as well. Okay. Well, first I have to do 1250 times 4 because I'm buying 4 of them. So 1250 times 4 is 5,000. And then to do the space required, even though I have to buy 4, this column right here, this 15,000 is representing the 1 animal. So it's 15,000 for the first animal and then 5,000 for every additional. Well, I bought 3 extra. So that's 3 times 5,000, which is 15,000. And then I add those together, and I get 30,000. And so my space required for the bobcat would be 30,000. Now for my koala, It's just, I'm just buying one of them. So that one's an easy one because the 7,500 stays the same because I'm just buying one. And then my space required, I just have to look in that column, which is 15,000. Okay. So remember, that's how you do your space required. Email me if you have questions. The next thing that I saw several people do as a mistake was they're rounding on here. So remember, we can't do decimals. So a lot of these, remember, you're dividing by 625. So 45,000 divided by 625 is 72. So that one's not a decimal. 30,000 divided by 625 is 48. So that one's not a decimal. And neither is the next one. But let's say I got 27.2. Okay. You cannot round down. Even though that is closer to 27 than it is 28, you have to round up every single time. So I can round that to 28. I can do 30, 35. Anything that's bigger than that decimal is what I can use. So like if I wanted to change that to 28, I could. Same thing if I have 46.1. That has to round up to something higher than 46. So I could not use 46 because this is the minimum. And so if I go down, it's not going to be big enough to hold the animal for them to live comfortably. Okay. So keep in mind, you have to round up every single time. And most of you did a really good job with that. There was just a few that I saw made that mistake. Okay. Next thing, when you get to your restrooms and concession stands, it says 1 right here. But remember, you have to have 2 to 4. So you can have 2, 3, or 4 for both of those. It says 1, but that's a typo. You have to have more than 1 restroom and concession stands. Okay. The marine animals, so remember I didn't have you do those last class because those are going to be circles. So that means when you do your length and width, so like if we had 48 on this one, we would do 12 times 4. Or 8 times 6, whatever you want to do. For the marine animals, so my dolphin and my otter, those are going to be different because they're circles. So we're trying to find the radius for those. Okay, and I have a video that you're going to watch next on Canvas, and it's a real quick, I think less than 5-minute video of Mrs. Beam explaining how to find the radius and then how to change your area. Okay, so watch that video next for the marine animals because the marine animals you will not do length times width. Those two will be different. Okay. And then the last thing is just a reminder that you're trying to get as close to $2.5 million as possible. And if you get within 1,000 of it, you get 10 points extra credit. And the student with the closest in the class gets an extra 5 points extra credit. So that's why do your restrooms and concession stands last. Because if you only have a little bit of money left, you can do 2 restrooms and 2 concession stands to save money. Whereas if you need to spend a lot more money, then you can use 4 restrooms and 4 concession stands to try and spend a little more money to get to your budget. Okay? But as always, let me know if you have questions, and I hope this video helps, and I will be back next class to help you in person. But remember, you can always come into my seminar.